Yeah, there's so many different aspects of our homes that affect our health, our well-being, how easy it is to take care of our home. And, we kind of get in those habits when we sometimes just don't even remember even the basic stuff that we learn. And one thing that I got really well versed on, especially during the pandemic times, was the filtration for our homes. In Oklahoma, where I live, a lot of times our return air ducts are where the filters are. So it kind of depends where you are, who installed it, what kind you had, but they all serve the same function. And that is to filter the air that's going through your heating and cooling system so it is cleaner and better for you to breathe. And I don't know about you, but I like to breathe.
Living green or sustainably is about more than saving on your electric bill and doing your part to protect natural resources. It is about a safer and healthier life for you and your family without sacrificing style, quality, or budget. This is a movement to provide all of us with clean air to breathe and water to drink, safe, healthy food to eat, and places to live, and energy to run the places where we live, learn, work, and play. Join your host, Marla Esser-Close, the Green Home Coach, to learn how everyday green homes work for you, your family, and your community.
Hey, y'all, it's Marla, Green Home Coach, and I am in today with an encore performance, I guess it's a performance, with Gay Harris of Superior Air Quality, but I always remember you being of Green Screen, Gay.
Exactly.
I don't know, green screen just sticks in my brain more than superior air quality.
Oh, I know. Well, and that's good. The name of the website too.
Right? It is the primary thing. So from our little teaser at the beginning, green screen is a way for us to have better air in our homes. But
yes.
What the heck is a green screen? How did you get involved with green screens? And why do you care?
Yeah, those are all very good questions. Do we have about 5? No, I'm kidding. My husband and I worked in the industry with construction on and off for years. And now, for the last almost 7 years now, we have this company, Green Screen Air Filter. And the reason we liked it is when we first started with them, we were actually in Austin at a home show selling radiant barrier and other things to help your home stay cooler, etc. And the owner came over and showed us this. And since it actually saves on electricity and has better airflow for your unit and everything, it just fit in perfect. And then, that whole thing came where a lot of businesses went out of business. So the one we were in with the radiant barrier moved away. So we took over the filters and just started doing home and garden shows like the original owners had. But the main difference is all pleated filters. If you can picture a pleat, it collects mainly on one surface. Mm-hmm. It has a little differentiation in there, but on one surface. So how long does it take to collect particles and start restricting the airflow?
Right.
That's why when you pay more, they're the expensive ones, they just put a whole bunch more pleats in there.
Right. So you're increasing your surface area. Yeah.
Okay. So when we found about the green screen, just our personal note, my husband and I both had pretty severe allergies here in Central Texas. His was definitely the cedar fever, and mine wasn't anything till April and May. But both of us would suffer so much during those times, and you can't sleep well. You're on medication, expense. It's just a lot to it. And so when we were told about the green screen, which I will show you, then we started using our own home. And every year we started getting better and have to take less and less allergy medicine. And we've been off of any allergy medicine for years now. And so we know it works. So this is it. It's packaged up with one of our holder applications. It's a 1-inch grid. So this is the basic one. We do have multiple colors depending on what your needs are, etc. But if you can see the main difference, I was talking about the pleats, how everything's stuck on one surface. Some homes, within 2 weeks, your machine's starting to struggle already trying to get the air through. Well, this is a commercial grade filter. It's been around since the 1950s, but not in the residential form.
Okay.
The original owners, and then when we took it over, we the only ones we know that sell it on a large scale residentially.
Okay.
And we do commercial also. But if you'll notice, this is a 1-inch fabric. So it layers the dirt in by the size of the particle. There's actually 3 different zones that it traps particles. The white collects the big stuff, and then the green collects the little bit smaller, and then there's a tacky layer in the green that traps your pollens and microscopic particles. So, I could give you all the statistics and all the figures, but nobody cares about that. We just want to know, well, how does it help? So in general, there's Marla's
proof that it works.
Exactly. They'll never look as dirty as a pleat. Well, they shouldn't, or it's way overdone.
And we did construction this year. So this one was up during construction. So it's extra dirty. But this tacky surface, this is brilliant because this captures so much stuff that you really just don't ever have a chance to capture in other kinds of filters.
Right. And I think that's actually what helps allergies so much is the green part, right. The tackiness in the green. The white also has an antimicrobial baked into it. So it won't allow mold and mildew and fungus to recirculate in your air once it goes to the filter. A lot of filters, they show you the efficiency as it gets more dirty because the dust itself will trap the other particles. Well, with
interesting.
Yeah. And with this one, because it layers the dirt through, it has hundreds of surfaces to collect on. So you're not restricting the airflow. So in general, they last about twice as long as the pleated if you're changing them in a normal time period. Some people read on the pleat, it says up to 90 days. And they go, well, I use the 90-day filter. Well, how many people in the house? 5. How many pets? 6.
Right.
Well, they'll probably need to be changing it every month. So every home's a little different, which is one of the things we offer if you need any specific directions on how often to change yours for your home. So that's the basis of the green screen, but we've added other areas of type that we can sell for other filtration. Like this is a cabin air filter. You see, it's the whole thing about the pleat again. It just collects right there on the surface and it just gets dirtier and dirtier.
So that's for the cabin in our cars.
Yes, in your car. Now, every vehicle obviously is a little different, but it's super easy. You can go to YouTube, put in your type of car, your age of the car, and then say, how do I change my cabin air filter? We have Toyota Prius, and they wanted $60 to change and put one of these in there. So it's like, well, let me just get one of ours. And so every time we go in, they're like, what is this? It works so well. So our cabin air filter, we cut to a specific size that we think will fit most vehicles. Okay. And you can trim this. These are just fabrics, so you can trim them.
Right.
It has a layer of carbon, though, on it because most cars have odors. I mean, everything's just stuck inside of there. And so this really helps to keep the odors out of your house, your car.
I need to try that one. One of our cars has a strange smell to it that we haven't been able to get out. So maybe that would work.
Right. And some of those plugins that are supposed to help, they can clean the air. But if you read about them, some of them have a lot of chemicals.
No, we don't do any plugins, any fragrance, because I am super sensitive to fragrance. So yeah, I'm right there with you. I could do charcoal bags, but that's only going to get it once it's in the cabin, not through the system.
That's true. So I'll go through the different basic applications in your home. So generally, your filters are located in one of 2 places, either inside your unit, either underneath it has a little trap door, or right on the side of it, or even on top of it. Those require that you get a frame because it has to hold the filter in.
Right.
So you just take it out and change the green screen and put it back in. If they're in your returns, like in the wall or ceiling.
Yeah, mine are in my returns and ceiling.
This is so simple. I love this way. We just started using this a few years ago. It's a 1-inch permanent grid. As you can see, you bend up a few of the prongs. You put it up, there's a 1/2-inch lip where it holds the filter in. You put it up to the top of the grid, and you reach your finger through and close those few down, and then it's permanent. And then all you're doing is changing the green screen out. You don't have to take out the frame, changing it, put it back.
Because we have the frame and we pull the frame out and change it out. So
yes, which was the only thing we had for years.
Right.
But now you have something new. We'll trade yours out for grids. So it makes it easier. And another thing I like about it is because there's no frame, then the fabric actually goes to the very edge all the way around. So no air can sneak around it.
So you're getting filtration all the way to the edge.
Exactly. So we take care and send you rubber foam tape if you need to keep these from moving and that stuff so the air doesn't go around it. So we work really hard on that. The grid just makes it easier. Very cool. We have those two applications. And, a lot of builders are now putting those whole house filters.
Yes.
And, when we've been selling these filters before we took over, like 9 years. So we've been selling them a total of almost 16 years now. And when we were first starting, that's when the builders somebody got this great idea of putting the 4-inch whole house filter in there, which works just fine to keep your unit clean if you change it enough.
Right.
But the issue is that all the dirt has to go through all your duct work to even get there. So if you want to keep the dirt away from where you live more and keep your machine clean, then you can use the return filters and not the one in the unit. But that's another whole issue. If you're going to trade from one to the other, we will talk to you about what you need to do in preparation. So we now have a 4-inch, it's orange screen. So it has actually 4 inches of fabric. So it will last as long, if not longer, than the pleated.
Okay.
The ones you buy at the store, they again say either 6 months or a year usually. Well, again, it depends on how many people and pets, how much dust you have, etc. So all those things we help our customer figure out. Once you're set up, you never have to think about it again. We even do auto ships. So by whatever schedule you need, we send out one filter and it's easy to change. It's just nice working with a family company.
I order like 6 at a time and then I'm good for a while.
Yes. A lot of people like having them in the house. Some people never remember to change them. So the auto ship, by whatever schedule they want to change them, one at a time comes to the door, boom, they change it. They don't have
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
I know. I think my life is on auto ship now.
Yeah, I get it.
It's like one subscription after another.
My coffee's a day late. How am I going to live today? One last application I want to explain is our RV filters. RVs, oh man, we're working with somebody now who actually is in the industry to try to help those RV units, because the way they're installed and stuff is a lot of air sneaks around it. The air isn't all pushed in the right direction, etc. So there's somebody that's working directly trying to work on that. Well, our filters will keep your AC unit clean, just like the other ones, but also more in your house. I mean, if you're living in an RV, you want a lot less dust. And that black foam that you're supposed to rinse out, that comes with the RV, it's worthless, except for maybe pet hair and small rocks, but other than
only in your RV, small rocks.
So we have this application too. Again, we found the biggest size that we could on the market. So you can cut, some of them are in circles, cut it, trim it, whatever you need to for yours. And if you have a specific custom size, we'll make it any size. All of our filters are custom. The frames are custom, the grids are custom. We make the fabric, we cut it to your size when you order it. So it makes it really nice.
And I love the fact that not only will you customize it to fit what we specifically need, I love the fact that you're another small business and that we get a chance. That's just huge. Women-owned, veteran-owned small businesses. I mean, this is the crux of America. We are the backbone of America. So we all have to lift each other up.
Yeah, we're 100% women-owned, which is me. So my husband's my volunteer.
That happens around.
He really is. He runs the warehouse, but I run the business.
Want to find and sell the value of green homes and features in your clients' projects and homes? I'm Marla Close, the Green Home Coach, and I have built What Makes a Green Home Green audio program just for you. This program offers an easy-to-understand language, audio trainings that are easy to consume on the go, with resource guides to help you absorb the information and reference it easily in your day-to-day activity. Your investment in this green home knowledge could unlock thousands of dollars more in business for your home projects. Check out What Makes a Green Home Green and how it will help you find and sell the value of green homes and features in your clients' projects and homes. greenhomecoach.com/home pro. I want to go back to this because I'm not sure a lot of people understand the value of this fabric technology. And I'm going to get a little nerdy here with my engineering background. So we were talking earlier about how with pleated, you just have the surface area. So, if you're taking a piece of paper, this is an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And if I fold it up into pleats, it's still approximately 88 square inches of surface area, right? And the more surface area you have, the more it can slow down the air velocity through your system. So if you put too much surface area in your specific unit, it may not be rated for it. So you can actually harm your system or make it less efficient, right?
Oh, for sure.
That was something I loved about these because of the way they're built. They don't have the risk of slowing it down near as much.
No, and that's one of the things we first learned about filters is a filter is supposed to do two things. It's supposed to keep your coils clean, and it's supposed to give the right amount of airflow to your unit, or it will start. I had a technician explain to me how the oils get messed up, and it basically burns your unit up quicker.
Yeah.
So if you look at the options at the store, you have the inexpensive ones that have good airflow, and some AC companies say, buy the cheapest and change it every month.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, but you know what they're doing to their unit, right? And then you have the ones that are very expensive, which a lot of people have gone to because they care about their air quality, which just means that it has to be tighter and tighter woven to collect those tinier particles.
Right.
And so either way, it's not a good option. That's why when we found the green screen, we've just never used anything but. And
it's the best of both worlds. It really is.
It is. It's the only one we've ever found that does both. There's washable ones, which seem to be a good thought, but are the worst for your unit. There's options out there, but we've never found anything as good as the green screen and the way it's the technology of it.
Well, and I don't know if people can see close enough, and pardon my dirty one, that's just the one that was handy. But if you can see sideways, you can see how this is woven. And it's like a fabric, and it's because it's woven, the air passes through, and all of the layers are woven. So they're just woven more tightly, but you never have that absolute barrier or almost absolute barrier with a material that's pleated. So it's just a different philosophy of how it's built just from a basic material principle, but it's simple and elegant, which I love.
And a lot of people, when we're at home shows, they'll go, oh, because they're so much better. Oh, these are too expensive for me. But actually,
they're not that much more.
They're not. They're about the same price as your good quality at the store, but they last twice as long in average.
And I reuse them. We use them like for weed barrier out in the yards when they're all done.
Exactly. You can repurpose them. They're perfect weed block.
They go under all of our little patio tiles, so that way keep the grass down. So, hey, always looking for new uses. But the other thing you mentioned is filtration is so important for protecting your unit, which you've likely spent thousands and thousands of dollars on.
Right.
It's also important to help protect us because if we're filtering that stuff out and away from our blower units, we're also filtering it out and away for us. And air quality has become very much of a topic in the news, if you will, with how it affects our health and our well-being, and with so much more asthma and allergies and respiratory issues. And then with COVID, this got elevated into the spotlight big time.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people feel like they can get the same effects with an air purifier as they can with an air filtration unit. There's all kinds of combinations. But let's talk a little bit about why you want good filtration in the first place, because that's really your baseline defense.
That's very good, Marla. When we started in this business with the filtration and learning all about filters and what were the options out there, we did a lot of research, and it's amazing. The EPA says that your indoor air quality can be up to 70 times worse than outside. Because of all the chemicals from inside your home. And everything comes in, but nothing goes out unless it goes through a filter. So these are things we just don't normally think about. But when I was talking about our allergies, it's amazing. how much better when you sleep a full night without waking up, coughing and sneezing 2 or 3 times, you get the full night's sleep. Your body can heal itself better. And I asked when we first started, and my husband was working outside on a ranch full of cedars, right? So the first year we'd been using the filters for about 3 months is all, but he wasn't having as many sneezing fits. So I went to our doctor. She's a naturopath. I said, look, I know it's a good filter, but how come he's not having sneezing fits when he works in the middle of it? And she was saying that at night, when you sleep, most of us know this, that's when our bodies heal ourselves. So she said, if you can get the things out of the air that aggravate you, that cause the allergens, then your body can become less and less sensitive. And sure enough, it took us a few years, but both of us have completely gotten off our allergy medicine. And I can guarantee it's the filter, because we had to move for a while, didn't get to use the filters. All my symptoms came back. So, because you kind of wonder, is it really the filter doing that much? So, and you did mention purifiers, and they are an important addition to it, especially depending on how many filters you have, et cetera. And we would be glad to encourage people to question us, talk to us about those, because there's a lot of options and a lot of them are not very good. So, and it's very difficult, even being in the industry, it is crazy trying to figure out what is a really good purifier, what really works.
Yes, and they are all over the board. And
oh, I know, and you can't really tell. Because they'll say this, and then there's this kind, and then there's this kind, and like the UVs became very popular, which they are great, but we've had customer install them in their plenum right next to the filter, and well, this was before they used ours. They were telling us about it, and he opened it up once, and the UV had eaten away all the cardboard on his filter. So it's like there's so many different issues that
with trade-offs. There's always trade-offs.
Yeah. So anyway, there is so many different aspects. It's like a puzzle.
It is.
They say if you have a lot of allergies, make sure you wash your hair at night so you're not sleeping with all the pollens in the pillowcase.
That's what we had to do with my son.
Yeah. And one of the things, this is the main little tip that we had to learn with trial and error, is in the evening with our filter, if you do the other ones, it's going to fill up too quick. But we turn on a thermostat fan from auto to on between dinner and bedtime, put it back to auto when we go to bed. You can't run it 24/7 unless your system's made that way.
Right.
It'll put too much moisture. But that way, the 2 times a year that we don't always use our AC or heater, that's when you get all the pollens.
Yeah.
So if you can at least let the air go through your filter a couple hours an evening, it'll really make a huge difference.
Well, the other tip you gave me that we started doing that really helped too is that we turn on our circulating air while we're vacuuming or dusting or cleaning. And that really helps too. Even though we use microfiber cloths and a HEPA filter on our vacuum, some of it still escapes. So at least it gets up into the filter while it's in the air. So that,
or if you're having a big party.
Yeah.
Anything that's going to stir up the dust, it's good to run the fan, because, it's maybe pennies a day to just have the fan going. And then if the AC or heater comes on, that's fine. But that'll keep the circulation.
Some of the thermostats, some of the programmable thermostats will allow you to set a timer on circulating your air, like 10 minutes every hour or half an hour every whatever you want. And that if you have that option, that's a great way to do it, because then you can set it and forget it, because I always forget. But not all thermostats have that. No. We're also seeing more and more integrated. For people that are getting newer HVAC systems, they're going to have more functions integrated into them for ventilation, for recirculation. And there's just this higher awareness that all this stuff plays together for us to have better health for ourselves, better health for our systems. And those all work. I mean, if our systems aren't working for us, then what's the point?
And I think, AC companies only look at keeping the units clean, right? Or having the good airflow, depending on what the AC person is more interested.
They're starting to get the message, but
they are
muy poquito, a little bit at a time.
And one thing we learned is even a 1/16 of an inch of dust on your AC coils can lower the efficiency up to 10%.
Wow.
So you always hear about people's ACs freezing up in the summer.
Yeah.
Well, it's because their coils are all caked.
Yeah.
And so there's no, the proper exchange of air and stuff. And so it frees up, and that's when you pay 3 times as much to have somebody come fix it. So this filter can save you hundreds, if not thousands, over the life of your units just on maintenance.
I am not so great about maintenance. I just got on the set it and forget it plan so that our heat and air company comes out twice a year, cleans the systems, maintains them, kind of like getting an oil change for your car, except just for my heat and air.
That's a very wise thing to do.
Yeah. They will change the filters if we haven't already, although I think last time we changed them the day before they came.
And you have to be careful. A lot of residential AC companies have never seen this since it's a commercial.
They had,
we've had,
but they love them. He's like,
oh, well, great. Some do. But we had a customer in Houston. She calls me up. Well, I can't use your filters anymore. I said, how come? She goes, I've had 3 different AC companies tell me those are the worst. And it's like, because they don't know this filter. Right. I can send you statistics. But so it's very difficult. We're like fighting professionals in a different arena that aren't necessarily familiar with the product. So it's always a learning curve, right?
Well, and that's part of my qualifications for finding a heating and air company that I wanted to service our house was somebody that was open to new ideas. And I happen to know this particular company from the industry that I work in and with homes. And they had been very open to new ideas. And so I'm like, okay, I can deal with that, which in Oklahoma is kind of hard sometimes. I feel like there's a lot of people here that are a little harder to, and that's true everywhere. It is. It's just the home building industry and home maintenance industry is so fraught with variables that when people figure out something that works, they understandably cling to it. So for all of you listening out there, give them some grace. And if you need help educating people, please refer to the show notes because we're going to put links in there that are going to give you more information about the green screen air filters, where you can go to help find this information. And one of the things that I love that y'all have added, Gay, is that now you have a MERV rating equivalency on the filters. And that's a language that the heating and cooling industry speaks for filtration is MERVs. And I can't even remember what it stands for, but it's how much filtration you get from those units. So it's kind of like having a translation, isn't it?
It is. It helps in general, but it gives you half the story. So it shows you the amount of particles it collects, but it doesn't tell you about the airflow. So the ASHRAE test is the one that we've learned all about. And that's why this filter is so amazing, because it had about 20% better airflow than like the MERV 15 pleated, but it still collected almost twice as many particles.
As a MERV 15.
So you have to know the whole story, but you don't get it.
Very good point. So you're getting the same or better filtration for
way better,
much less compromise on your efficiency and your airflow, which is going to maintain the health of your unit for a lot longer.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's a win-win.
It is a win-win. And it's a win-win-win when you even feel better from it.
Exactly. I mean, I feel like that's the best bonus is that I can sleep all night without taking a hanky to bed.
Yeah, right. That's a big one. Well, tell us what has been the most fun for you and your volunteer husband doing a job of getting out there and helping us how to understand how to have better filtration in our homes and now our RVs and our cars.
We love teaching people because we were taught when we got into this, we knew no more than, your neighbor, but we've learned so much. And so we love passing the information over. We love talking to builders and explaining why it's best to keep your filters in the returns instead of in the unit, all this stuff that they don't think about because in the general industry, they put in your AC unit, they leave you alone and they don't come back, a year later says, well, how's the dust you're living in? It's like, well, I have people say they've never lived in such a dusty home. And I'm like, well, is your filter in the attic? It's a lot of common sense, but when you have so many other things you're dealing with, it's hard to know the optimum of every part of building. But anyway, so we love teaching people. We love helping people. We ship all over the United States. So anybody has any questions when people are fixing to build, we're glad to recommend locations for your filters that will give you the least amount of dust in your home. So we're out there to help people because we know how much it's helped us.
That's awesome. Well, I'm so glad that I ran into you at that home show a few years back And it has led us to now have this partnership. And I love that you're one of Green Home Coach's trusted partners and brands, because we love what you do. And we hope that we can just keep building on this partnership as we go forward to help more and more people.
We really appreciate you, Marla. And we know that your heart over the years, I mean, there's been some ups and downs with all the COVID, with everything going on, but you've stayed so true to your heart to
thank you.
Teach people the truth of it's not that hard to have a green home. And so it's just little details here and there, just little things you
got to think about it. Yep. Well, I thank you both for everything that you do. And folks, make sure to check out the show notes, because there's a coupon code in there for you if you want to go get your own green screen air filters. So
yeah. And any questions, just call us.
Check out the show notes. If you can't find it, call me. And have a great green day. And we'll see you next time.
Thank you so much, Marla.
That wraps this episode of the Everyday Green Home Podcast. Get the show notes with all the resources mentioned in this episode. Be sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast app so you never miss an episode. Want more? Join the Love Your Everyday Green Home private Facebook group for more resources and behind-the-scenes insights. And remember that living a little better and greener is easier than you think.